Welcome to another edition of GrokTALK, brought to you by GrokTALK.com and Grok Media LLC. My name's Steve McDonald. I am owner, operator, co-owner, manager, editor, and all those other fun things at GrokTALK.com. And we bring this to you every week because why not, right? There's plenty of things to talk about. It's really just sort of an elongated video blog. And today we are talking about privacy and AI. Yes, obviously with drones in the air and cameras everywhere. Hey, that rhymes. We can make a song out of that. I'm thinking about Christmas tunes. AI. Anyway, interesting things from around the world. Obviously, the state is predisposed to violate your privacy, and without things like constitutions and laws, they would just do it anyway. Some nations, some states, some towns and cities, some people stepped up and said, hey, we don't like this, we're going to do something about it. But did they really do anything at all? I don't know. We'll find out when Grok Talk starts in less than 60 seconds. In 2018, the state of New Hampshire advanced and the state population passed by a significant majority a constitutional amendment. Article 2B, Right of Privacy. An individual's right to live free from governmental intrusion in private personal information is natural, essential, and inherent. Incredibly vague. Everybody was like, how are you going to enforce that? Well, so far, nobody really has. It's become quite the quagmire. We have to rely on New Hampshire courts and New Hampshire judges who can't be trusted with the law. They don't know how to read it. They don't know how to interpret it to protect citizens' rights, and they tend to lean, unfortunately, in favor of government interest before the people. The problem with this particular bit of privacy amending is that it was originally favored by Democrats because they were just trying to hide abortion statistics. I'm serious. That's what they wanted. Long time in the coming. But the way it's worded, it doesn't really say that, does it? I mean, if HIPAA doesn't protect abortion statistics, maybe we need something more. Well, if you let the Democrats run wild, they would have tried to pass some kind of abortion is a natural right amendment like they did over there in Vermont. But as I've reported repeatedly, depending on how you interpret that, it doesn't protect it at all. Anyway, there are issues, lots of issues. Again, AI is here. We've already got a surveillance state. Everybody's got a camera on them. There's cameras on ATMs. There's cameras on poles, traffic cameras, license plate cameras. New Hampshire has a lot of laws limiting that sort of thing. Oh, I forgot, toll booth cameras. And you're not supposed to save that stuff. Of course, the minute you put up a camera, it's really only the matter of a new legislature, and those protections are gone out the window. Last year, year before, we passed a law that allowed the state to put cameras and point them at covered bridges because apparently people were damaging these things, and we like them. They're an important part of our state and our history, and apparently that history is worth protecting. So they said, well, we're going to put cameras up, and they can only be used to investigate damage to the bridge, whether it's graffiti, vehicular. But then the videos have to be deleted after 7 days. Are they? They could be kept for a really long time if somebody said they had an investigatory purpose. Once again, you're one more camera there and one more change of legislature, and those cameras are being used for whatever the hell they want. Well, that's what goes on in the United Kingdom. They have lots of cameras everywhere. One of the most surveilled places on the face of the planet. And they like very much their surveillance. They love spying on everybody. You'll always hear about it. You watch British TV, lots of cop shows. Check the CCTV. Yeah, they do. And, you know, for a little dramatic purpose every now and then there's places that don't have them. And of course, you've heard about the movement to take them all down. There are places in the UK where all the cameras have been damaged or removed. Yay, team. Talk about trying to protect your own privacy. But anyway, so the United Kingdom, this is a Human Events article. UK police stop using AI facial recognition after it spots too many black criminals. Well, that's weird because the whole purpose of the facial recognition cameras is to spot criminals. Now, I'm not saying I approve of this. I don't want any of that crap anywhere near anybody. Do it the old-fashioned way. And of course, if you have lots of law-abiding, gun-toting citizens, there's a lot less crime because those people get shot. It's very difficult to be a repeat offender if you're dead. But back to the article. Essex UK police have put live facial recognition, LFR cameras, on hold after researchers found the system was correctly flagging black criminals more often compared to other ethnic groups. The pause was confirmed by the Information Commissioner's Office, which oversees LFR use by at least 13 forces across England and Wales. I'm sorry, I'll just keep reading. The technology, which can be mounted on vans or fixed locations, was intended to help police track wanted criminals. And apparently it identifies them. They just all happen to be brown. In January, the Home Secretary announced an expansion of the program, increasing LFR vans fivefold so every force could access them. Yes, cameras everywhere, on the trees, on the poles, on the vans, everywhere, moving, stationary. We have to have cameras because we don't trust you little bastards to do what we tell you to do. Essex commissioned University of Cambridge academics to test the system. They had 188 actors walk past active cameras in Chelmsford. About half of the people on a police watch list were correctly identified, while false positives were rare. So it sounds like it works. But the study found men were identified more reliably than women, and black participants were statistically significantly more likely to correctly identify than people from other ethnic groups. Well, if you were a brown person and you weren't a criminal, a system that correctly identified black criminals, would that be a problem? Especially if they really are black criminals. Well, you can't have that. It's just, the system is racist. The AI is racist. Dr. Matt Bland, he must be really exciting, a criminologist involved in the study, told The Guardian and Liberty Investigates, if you're an offender passing facial recognition cameras, which are set up as they have been in Essex, the chances of being identified as being on a police watch list are greater if you're black. To me, that warrants further investigation. Okay, maybe I'm misunderstanding this. It says it identified black criminals. It did not identify blacks as criminals who were not criminals. How is that a problem? Well, there is a problem. The problem is there are apparently an awful lot of black criminals, and you might want to ask why that is. And the answer to that question typically is, it's the government's fault. Don't get me wrong. But like here in America, black crime is concentrated in urban areas. Urban areas where people have been denied so much agency by the very people who claim to be their advocates that the only way to better themselves is to steal things from other people, to sell drugs, to commit crimes. And when you live in a world like that, and you're raised in a world like that, where the only way to get ahead or even get by is to cause harm or to steal property from others, you just assume that's the way the world works. You just assume that anybody who tries to stop you just doesn't like you, that they're a racist, that they don't want you to succeed. They maybe don't. We're talking about Democrat cities run for decades by the left, who give you a little bit of money, offer you a little bit of praise, tell you you're on their side, and then treat you like crap, trap you in a welfare system that has no opportunity for advancement. You have no agency in that system. They put you there. Now, it may or may not be coincidental that this is the same party whose ideological ancestors trapped you on a different kind of plantation. And we can talk about lots of things. I'm not going to get too far off track on this. But if you are black and a criminal in the city, and we know that black on black crime is significantly higher than any other, we know that blacks murder more blacks than any other race. And again, the problem is a result of a culture created by the Democrat Party in urban cities. And anything you try to do to make it better, they oppose it. Anything you do to try to give them agency, they object. All while claiming to be the best thing you could ever vote for if you want a better future. That's just a bunch of bullshit. And I don't know why people don't realize it. It kind of unnerves me just a tiny bit that I'm not the only one talking about it. It's everywhere. And yet somehow these people who really just need an opportunity to succeed in the real world, not the one created for them by the Democrat Party, they just don't understand, or they don't get it, or they've been trapped there for so long. And the education system, again, run by the Democrat Party, is so bad. Perhaps they now lack not just agency, but intellectual agility. And that's a problem you can fix, but not unless somebody manages to find a way to fix it. And Democrats don't want to do that either. They're not your friends. And so anyway, we have this racist AI. The bias differs from the more familiar concern about LFR wrongly identifying innocent people. Last month, police mistakenly arrested a man for a burglary in a city he had never visited, confusing him with someone of South Asian descent. Experts say overtraining the AI on black faces may explain the disproportion, and adjustments to the system could fix it. Separate study by the National Physical Laboratory found black men were more likely to be correctly matched, though the result was not statistically significant. So, I guess you need to walk white criminals past the AI. I'm sure you can find a couple. I mean, most of them are in elected office, so they might not go for it. But anyway, so that's a problem, and I don't think any of these cameras should be anywhere. I think it's a bad idea. It's a really bad idea. In fact, it's such a bad idea that the state of New Hampshire in 2024 passed a law, HB 1688. And the law originally was established to prohibit AI to be used for real-time and remote biometric identification systems used for surveillance in public places, such as facial recognition, except when used to locate missing or abducted persons. I'm not quite sure if that's how it ended up, but it did put some restrictions, at least paper tiger restrictions, on how AI could be used as far as surveillance goes with regard to facial recognition. State of New Hampshire, RSA 2091, if you go down to 5D3, prohibition. The following uses of AI by state agencies shall be prohibited. Classifying persons based on behavior, socio and economic status, or personal characteristics resulting in an unlawful discrimination against any individual person or group of persons. The people in Essex could use one of those. Real-time and remote biometric identification system used for surveillance in public spaces, such as facial recognition, except by law enforcement with a warrant. Little aside here. With a warrant, New Hampshire, we've done some reporting where New Hampshire will issue secret warrants to surveil your social media, and nobody knows. So, I'm sure they'll do that with this when used for any deceptive or malicious purpose. Now, there's a bunch of other things here, rules about what you can do and what you can't do. Keep in mind, this is just state agencies, not federal. Federal agencies are not affected by this law, nor does it seem are they affected in any way by Article 2B, which guarantees the right to privacy for citizens of the state of New Hampshire. So, the other problem with this bill is that, like a lot of bills, and I didn't read the whole chapter that it amends, so I don't really know for certain if what I'm about to tell you is in fact true, but we've seen so many bills get passed with no teeth. I couldn't find any teeth for this bill. So if you violate this bill, what have you done? Well, there is a reference to the New Hampshire Department of IT's Code of Ethics. Yes, they have one of those. Code of Ethics. We are so, we have ethics. New Hampshire State Government Code of Ethics for AI Systems. Fundamental rights. The following fundamental human rights are critical to the human-centric code of ethics and serve as a foundation of ethical use and development of AI systems. Don't fall asleep. Human dignity. AI system technology shall be developed such that it respects, serves, and protects humans' personal and cultural sense of identity, physical and mental integrity, and satisfies basic needs. I should point out here that in a Skynet scenario, I don't think the AI really cares about your code of ethics. 2, individual freedom. Humans have freedom to make life decisions for themselves without sovereign intrusion, except to ensure that individuals or people at risk of exclusion have equal access to AI systems, benefits, and opportunities when used by the state of New Hampshire. I don't really know what that means. Respect for democracy, justice, and law. People who wrote this probably don't respect them. But anyway, AI systems shall serve to maintain and promote democratic processes, whatever the hell those are, to honor the rule of law, and to respect the values and life choices of individuals and the norms of the state of New Hampshire. So no using AI to fix the electronic voting machines. Damn it. It's in the Code of Ethics. Like they give a damn. Equality, non-discrimination, and solidarity. Equal respect for the moral worth and dignity of all humans. See, all of this stuff is normal, okay? This is all dumb. It's why I have an objection to our civil rights law wording. Everything that's in there is a waste of words and paper. Every single human being in America has the same civil rights, regardless of all the demographics that you've painted in there, as if they wouldn't get them otherwise. Well, why wouldn't they? Well, if the government read the damn Constitution the way it's supposed to, it wouldn't need all this extra bullshit. You would have, I mean, doesn't matter what human being, you're a human being, you have the same rights. You don't get special rights because you're transgender. You don't get special rights because you're white or black or yellow or brown or green. You all have the same rights. Adding all these qualifiers, enumerating them all, creates gaps into which we now say, well, you didn't mention that person or that persuasion, or, you know, what about clog dancers? Huh? Well, don't they have special rights too? So it gets out of hand really, really quick. That was obviously a problem when the Constitution of the United States was first written. People were worried that once you started enumerating things, people would get the wrong idea. And they were right. They did. But it has proven useful to have some of these things enumerated. Free speech, right to assembly, the Second Amendment, all of it, okay? And of course, warrantless search. Yeah, okay, so they've kind of screwed that over again and again and again. There are so many exceptions. It's gotten a little out of hand, and we need to kind of reel that in. So I do like the idea of the AI law that says you can't do this or you can't do that, but it's toothless. And again, you can get a warrant for just about anything, right? If you really have even a inkling of probable cause, you know, contrary to what you see on police shows everywhere. So where are we? It's a good question. I talked about the covered bridge cameras. I did want to remind everybody that, again, every time you put a camera somewhere, whether it's your cell phone camera, that Ring doorbell camera, that home surveillance system, you've created an opportunity in the interest of your own security to give the state actionable evidence that they can subpoena to investigate, spy on, or otherwise deny the privacy of regular everyday citizens. And mistakes will happen. Absolutely. And of course, the justice system is supposed to be set up to let guilty people go once in a while to ensure that innocent people are never wrongly prosecuted or incarcerated. The system is messy. It's not perfect. It makes mistakes. It does. And we hope to amend them as best we can when they are discovered. But the more cameras you have, the more access you have, the more loopholes you invite. No matter what you do, you are just asking them to turn every camera in every hand, on every door, every street corner, every police car, even the cameras on your Teslas, become the eyes of Big Brother. Fewer would be better. I think we've crossed that bridge. That's not going to happen. What we really need is something that will protect us that isn't as vague as New Hampshire's Article 2B, because nobody really knows what it means. There's no legal way to defend it unless you go all in which case none of those cameras matter. You can't collect anything on anybody, and that's not how it's going to go. So the people in the UK obviously have a lot of issues, not the least of which is that actual black criminals are identified by their surveillance system. Maybe they should just get rid of it, all of it, and then, you know, do something reasonable about the crime problem in your country, which you pretty much created. And now you're just looking for a way to cover your own ass. That's it for this week. You guys have a great day. Don't forget to check out the morning update Monday through Friday. Granite Grok, 7 or 8 new articles every single day, 365 days a year. We do have a donate button. Don't be afraid to touch that sucker. We won't mind at all, even if it's $1. Although a one with some commas is really, really nice, and it would help us cover our expenses. So that's it for today. We'll talk to you again soon.
GrokTALK.